how's it going? So I'm really excited to be bringing a brand new series to this channel, and basically the idea here was that I honestly cannot do a Let's Play. I mean, I really just don't have that much to say about any one game. I mean, maybe I do, but in my head, I would not only start to bore you guys, but even myself. And those of you who know me in real life are probably shocked, but no, it's true. I don't think I could do it. So instead, I've decided to do a variation of a Let's Play where I still show off a big chunk of the game, plus we do a nice little challenge, and that's by blending my catch-em-all videos with my run videos. So we're going to be doing a catch-em-all run, where you're going to see the process of me catching every single Pokemon that I can in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. We're going to be starting with Ultra Moon, because that's the game I bought. And don't worry, we're not missing any gameplay, even though this introduction seems like it's been going on for a long time. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's introduction goes on even longer. About 10 minutes it takes between the time you turn on the game and then you finally get your starter Pokemon. There is a lot of exposition here. Now, my first time I didn't mind this so much because it was all new, but by now this is now my third playthrough. Most people's second playthrough because you've probably played Sun and Moon. If you haven't, don't worry, you're not missing anything. The game's story up to this point is pretty much identical. Very minor changes like, look, these guys are wearing slightly different costumes. Neato. But I've tried to avoid most spoilers, but I've heard that the big changes to the game don't come until the end. So we'll keep our eyes open. But for now, let's skip ahead to when you finally get your starter Pokemon. You still can't catch anything. There's still about 15 minutes. I'm not kidding. 15 minutes more stuff. Cutscenes, dialogue, etc. Finally, if we skip ahead again, Professor Kukui shows you how to catch a Grubbin, and we're on our journey. I have my Litten, and little did I know Litten would end up being one of the best Pokemon to use to try and catch a lot of Pokemon, and you'll see why in just a second. But I encounter this Grubbin, use a Scratch, and catch it. So what is my early game strategy for Catch 'em All? That. You don't have Spore, you don't have False Swipe, but at level 8, you do get Lick. And Lick, while not False Swipe or Spore, does have very low base power and has a 30% chance of paralyzing. So I didn't know that when I picked Litten. I just picked it because Poplio was my favorite and I picked it in my first playthrough. So I figured I would pick Litten, but I am very happy I did. This was the perfect fit for this type of challenge. After the Grubbin, I found a Pikipek. Unfortunately, I can't use Lick because, as you know, it's a normal type. And then I went to catch a Yungoos, or I just happened to find one, I should say, which I didn't know that I would, because basically the way Moon works is that the game time is 12 hours different from real time. So I was playing this around 10 in the morning because it was just after I bought the game, and it was nighttime in-game, or it should have been, but because I'm going to the festival in the in-game story, the game defaults to day. So no matter what time it is, you're going to be in day mode, which is useful because Yungoos is only catchable during the day, and I usually play at night, so I was pretty happy I got a Yungoos right now. Then I went to battle the Baniri trainer, which I shouldn't have done. I should have waited for experience share, which I'll talk about a little bit more in just a second. After I fought the Baniri trainer, I actually encountered my own Baniri. Now, if you don't know, Baniri was not available in the Alola Dex originally, so it's pretty cool to see that they're changing up the Pokedex a little bit, a la Black 2 and White 2 and Platinum. I wanted to catch this Baniri, but as you can see, I got a critical hit and it fainted. So this is why False Swipe is just so useful. Unfortunately, I'll have to go and catch a Baniri a little bit later. Then I found a Pichu. I can finally use Lick, but I can't paralyze it, or can I? It's hard to remember. They keep changing that mechanic. I've been playing way too much of Gen 4 lately, and it's really been messing up when I do battles. I mean, I'm thinking I'm still playing Gen 4. Alright, so I guess at this point I should talk about what is my strategy in terms of my Pokemon, what am I going to use, how am I going to get through the game. The idea here is I'm going to try and use Pokemon whose evolutions I cannot catch regularly. Now, I forgot about this as I'm playing through the game right now, but later on I'll figure this out. Plus, I'm trying to avoid as many trainers as I can, until I get the experience share, which is very early on. You'll see it in this video. The reason for this is that the experience share in these games as of Generation 6 gives all your Pokemon half the experience if they didn't participate in the battle. And if 2 Pokemon participate in the battle, they both get full experience points. This is so friggin' useful for Catch 'em All. Can you imagine in Platinum if this was a thing? Oh my god, my video that I'm trying to make, by the way, it's still coming out. That video would have been done yesterday. Instead, it's going to take like another week. Well, that's just editing, but still, it took forever. Okay, that being said, I finished off the route by catching a Leddyba, and finally a Caterpie, or I guess I should say finally a Baneri, because I had to find another one of those. But those are all the Pokemon catchable in Route 1. I didn't even realize that Cerebi already has all this information already up there, which is pretty useful. Usually I just go in blind, but if the information is out there, I love to use it. But I didn't actually make a strategy this time. Usually I have like a pre-written out strategy. Anyway, after I finished on Route 1, you see a little cutscene with the Ultra Recon Squad. They're evil, I think. I have no idea. They're probably evil. Anyway, after that, you go to the festival and you battle How again. And it's just as easy as the first battle because How picks the Pokemon that is weak against yours. And you know your elemental move like Ember right away. Although Pichu took one more hit than I thought it would. But whatever. How's pretty easy. Then there's some more dialogue, and eventually Lily's going to take you to Professor Kukui's lab. So at Kukui's lab, you get your Rotom Dex. You already have the Pokedex, but now it gets modified with a Rotom, and it'll talk to you. This is the same thing as Sun and Moon, but now you can actually interact with it, and it seems to like when you interact with it. I think this is how you unlock, like, second Z-move and this game's equivalent of O-Powers, but I've avoided spoilers, so I don't know. I've just heard things. Anyway, you get a Lunar Eclipse cutscene, so that clearly matters and is different, but I don't know why yet. I'm sure it's Necrozma, but I don't know. Anyway, I then chose to go to the trainer school right away because at the trainer school is where the experience share is. Actually, Professor Kukui gives it to you. Somehow he beats you, even though he doesn't leave, and yet you are clearly ahead of him. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. They kind of joke about it. Unfortunately, I ran into, or I guess not unfortunately, but I ran into a Wingull on the way, so I had to catch it. And then I got the experience share, which is pretty useful because every time you catch a Pokemon, you gain experience. That's another really cool thing, would have helped out in Platinum. Okay, so I went back to the grass by Kukui's lab, and there I found an Inkay. Now, Inkay is another Pokemon you were not able to catch originally in Sun and Moon, so that's pretty cool. And Slowpoke was one you were able to catch, and look at that. I caught another Slowpoke. Pretty cool stuff. I then went back to Route 1, now that it is in-game night, and I went to catch an Alolan Rattata, which I got in my first encounter. However, I also wanted to catch a Spinarak, which is the counterpart to Leddyba. You know, the one I caught in like 2 seconds. This time it took me, and I'm not kidding about this, half an hour. Listen, if you're going to do a catch 'em all, let me just say, sometimes this happens. There is nothing you can do about it. It is just the nature of the game. But let me just say, after the Diamond and Pearl video, half an hour is nothing. The Feebas taking me an hour and a half, I find lucky. So I think I've just been completely desensitized to these long periods of bad luck. Anyway, after I got Spinarak, I returned to the trainer school, and there I fought some trainers. You have to actually fight 4 of them. In addition to fighting the trainers, who are pretty easy. I mean, I tried to use another Pokemon first. The reason for this is that, basically, as of Generation 5, the amount of experience points you gain in battle is based on the difference between your level and the opponent's level. So, if you're a much higher level, you'll gain much less experience points, but if you're a much lower level, you'll gain more. So, the way I understand experience share to work is the amount of experience points everyone gets who didn't battle is half that which the Pokemon who battled got. But since I'm pretty much only been using Litten, it's really high leveled, so I don't get much experience points per battle. So I thought by subbing in something like Caterpie, which evolves pretty quickly to Metapod, and I want to get Butterfree fairly fast so I could swap in another Pokemon, I should just have it lead a lot of my battles. It made sense to me. Anyway, after I fought the first trainer, I went to go catch an Alolan Meowth, or again, that just so happened to be the Pokemon I found first, followed by an Alolan Grimer, which I really like the look of. I actually got a shiny version in my original playthrough. I'm really excited if I get a shiny. I've never gotten a shiny in a Catch 'em All, and watch it be in this series. That would be pretty neat. but it didn't happen in this video, spoiler. So the next Pokemon I encountered was Zorua, and Zorua is pretty interesting to me because not only is it another new Pokemon, but it has a really low catch rate. It originally was kind of an endgame Pokemon, so encountering it so early is both pretty cool and pretty hard to catch. Thankfully, I was able to catch it clutch with my last Pokeball, and I was like, yeah, take that, I caught this super rare Pokemon. Then I looked at Cerebi and it was like 20%. I'm like, yeah, I saved like 5 minutes, or maybe like 2 minutes. Minor victories. But yeah, finally I caught Magnemite and I went to fight the rest of the trainers, all of which were fairly easy. Even the guy in the tennis courts who says he's like the top trainer at the school, he's easy too, and he gives you a TM, workup, which raises your attack and special attack. I probably will never use it, but it's a TM that exists. Okay, after you beat all them, you get called to the office to fight the teacher. And she has the other starter who is strong against your starter. At least she did in my case. I don't know if she always has Poplio, but I think it's just the starter that is strong against yours. I didn't actually know that going into the battle, so I led with Metapod, who had already evolved at this point. And yeah, that was a bad idea because, well, as you can see, Litten wasn't long for this battle. So I had to call in Pichu, who already wasn't on a lot of health. And thankfully, Pichu didn't just get a couple attacks off. Not only the clutch paralysis to make the Poplio slower, but the clutch para hacks to stop it from attacking. Really, really good. And I think I actually would have lost if not for that. Thankfully, I was able to switch in Lediba, which has godly special defense in the early game, use a couple Swifts, or 3 Swifts, I don't even remember at this point, and I was able to beat the Poplio. So that is our first major challenge, and I think we did pretty well. In the next video, we're going to be heading to Howoli City, and we're going to try and catch a whole bunch more Pokemon, plus we're going to actually probably do the first trial, so that's going to be a lot of fun. That video will probably be up either early tomorrow or even later tonight, so I hope you guys enjoy, and if you did, I'm going to ask for the first time ever, leave a like and maybe subscribe to my channel? I don't know. You know, we're trying to hit 25,000 by the end of the month, so let's see if we can do that. Thanks guys for the support, and see you soon.